All right, I started the recording. Hopefully, you should be seeing. All right. Let me change the screen to that. You're not seeing anything, right? It will gonna come because it was in dormant mode. All right, so AutoCAD. That's the screen that I would like to save, and there is this PowerPoint somewhere. Yep, here's the PowerPoint. All right, I'll just move it back. So everybody open this two screen, right? Just like before. So one screen have the AutoCAD, the other screen has this. Other screen has this PowerPoint. Where to find the PowerPoint? In Brightspace, just go to Brightspace. You should be able to download it. Okay, and you are not seeing it. So let me show it to you. So here, I'll come back. I'll come to you just 1 second. So you see here, these class lectures. Some other issue? Okay, just 1 second. Oh yeah, you gotta download this thing. You don't have to download. Yeah, download this thing. Open it in separate file. Okay. If you try to open it on the browser, you might have issue. Just like yeah. That's right. Okay, I'll show it to you. Okay. We'll figure it out there, right? And let me start the class. Okay. Uh, in order, so is a PDF that you're trying to open? And is a PDF that you're trying to open? No, I was actually trying to open the AutoCAD. AutoCAD? Yeah. I don't know. Maybe you'd like to reinstall or something. Yeah, I will figure it out. But in my personal laptop, it's working fine. Okay. When you're having the setup, maybe something happened. But we'll figure it out. Okay, don't worry. So let's begin. So 9:13. Quite a bit of time we already lost, but we should be all right. Our goal, agenda, right? The first thing, what we're trying to do. We started with the line, the chapter 2, right? In last class. Yep, in last class. Planning to finish this chapter for sure today. Okay, this is a very extensive one. There was a homework number 2. I just checked. It's due probably today, right? If I'm not mistaken. I just checked. Out of 15 students, only 7 or 6 students submitted. Okay, so I've been waiting. I'll wait. I say this way. I'll wait until end of today. I will start grading before you come to the next class. So like on Wednesday, you've seen like I graded homework number 1, right? So on the homework issue, I've seen like some students had an issue with like how to save it, right, as a PDF. So there is this tool, like 2 ways you can do that. Obviously, you can do the plotting that I was referring. Some students are saying like having issues. There is these output options. Okay, you can use it as well. Let me show it to you both, right? The easiest one would be output. I don't know. Maybe you'd like to draw something that way you can see something that is happening. Um, just some random thing. Close. All right, and then I'd like to save it, right? So there's this output what here, and then you'd like to export this, right? Export the display, page setup current, right? And then export to DWF option, export to PDF options, right? There are 2 options. You can see that. You see that? You see that what I'm doing right now, right? So there's this output option, and then from there, I'm trying to save it as a PDF, right? So export to the PDF options. Now, obviously, you can change all those things. As you can see, the quality of the video and other things, image quality, in other words. It should be saved automatically, right? No. Click on the left. here, right? All right, so PDF. Oh, that was the setting. I'm sorry. So export to PDF. So okay, I'm sorry. Let me go back. So these are the options for setup, right? As I was showing before, let me come back. Let me show it again to come back what I was talking. You see here the vector quality, image quality, all those things you can change it, and it's so obvious. Like DPI means dot per inch. You can increase it to get the better quality picture. You can decrease it to get the lower quality picture. Dot per inch, what does it mean, right? So once you change everything that as per you need, and then you go here to export, and you remember I just had this simple rectangle, right? So I'd like to export it as a PDF. So I'll click on the PDF, and depends on what I'd like to save. If I'm going to save it to documents, is fine. And let me put a name as like test, right? And you see, you got to make sure you are doing as PDF. So PDF is chosen, and you saved it, and then you try to open it. Okay, let me open the download, and I gotta bring it because I have these two different screen. Okay, so here document, under this document I had this thing saved as test. Yeah, here, do you see that? All right, it did came up, but here, ever see that? Can you do that, everyone? That could be the easiest, I guess, compared to the plotting. But plotting is so important as well, because you'd like to do it. You'd like to do it in the plotter, or you'd like to print it, right? So I'll show you the print option now. The output option we just explored today, right? Yeah, I was talking with one student. But the plotting, anybody use this output option other than that student? The PDF output. Okay, if not, then try it. That's the easiest way of getting a PDF. Okay. In last homework, as some students mentioned, like having issues with this thing, if you already submitted it in a TWG file, I'm okay with that, because you didn't know how to do that. I didn't show it to you specifically. But from next homework on, I'd be expecting everybody to do this. Is it clear? Everybody can do that, right? All right. So the other thing, as I was saying, like the plotting, right? So the plotting options, let me show you this, the AutoCAD. Yep. All right. So the plotting is basically you can get it from any places, right? You can go on the plot, and something came up. Another screen is just here. Okay. And you can change all the setup, and you can do the plotting as a PDF. But I'd say, like, don't even go on the plotting yet. At some point in this class, I'll show you how to do the plotting on the plotter. Okay. For now, just go with this output. Is it clear? See, so again, on plotting, you gotta select the printer, right? So if you'd like to plot it as a PDF, there's a second option I'm still showing. I mean, I feel like you may be interested to see. See, there is an option called Microsoft Print to PDF. Ever see that on the drop down? You just have to choose that, and then press OK. And then it's gonna ask you a location. You're gonna name a location, say like test one or something. I know. You save it, and it gets saved. Okay, and then you can open it, and you'll have another PDF. That's kind of a little bit difficult maybe for you initially, that you got to change everything. But again, you can do it from the output, go to export, go to PDF, and then do it that way. Any question? No? Should I go back to my agenda, the class agenda? All right. So let me open the PowerPoint. Where is my PowerPoint? Here. All right. So this is going to give us some guideline where we were before and what we should be doing. So we have done pretty much all those things that what we're seeing here. Close options, undo options, individual lines. we have done these three different ways plotting. One is the absolute coordinate, another one is the relative coordinate, another one is the polar coordinate. Everybody remember those three things? All right, and then we had a homework for you guys today, that homework number 2, where you got to draw these three image by using those three techniques. Again, what are those techniques? Absolute, relative, and polar. Okay, this is what we have done so far. So these are done, all those things are done. Now we started with this polar tracking, and that's where kind of we didn't proceed any further. Okay, except this thing I was showing you, this option, if you remember, like there are different sets of angles that you can choose from the polar settings. Don't worry, I'm going to show it to you again. So as an example, you can choose this 90, 180, 270, 360 or that options. And if you're going to choose that options, that's actually you are choosing the ortho. Remember, there is the ortho options which can only go horizontal and vertical. Okay, you are choosing that. Now what if you have those angles as tracking, as well as you have some other angles, say like 45 degree, right, along with this 90, or 135 degree along with this 90 to 70 and 180 and 360. So what do you want to do? I've shown in last class, remember, how to add a angle, right? So what are those angles for polar tracking? What is the bottom line here? What that we are trying to do? Remember, when we have chosen some sets of angles, when we move our mouse, whenever that mouse means the crosshair, right? Remember the crosshair? Whenever we are moving the crosshair to that angle, that what we choose, sets of angle, any of the angle it came up, and then it will going to show you that angle. Okay, so like we have this 90, 180 chosen. So whenever my crosshair is at, like, 90 from some reference point that you selected initially, so then it will going to show you this is the 90. Now you can choose it. So does it make sense? So it's giving you the track. Now the easiest way to draw a line on that 90 degree that I was saying, just type that value of that line, right? Now what kind of value we're talking, like the units. Again, the units you can choose. I showed it to you, that thing as well. Remember in last class? Everything that I'm talking here, I'm going to show everything again, okay? So the units initially by default is inches. You can change it to meter, feet, whatever you want to do, right? There are places to change that. I'm going to show it to you again, as I'm saying. Okay. So again, on the settings of the polar tracking, as you can choose a set of angle, and you can kind of add any custom angle, whatever is necessary for you, and then start to plot by just defining the length of that line. Okay, using the other functions like the undo, close, and other things, as you've seen, right? And then see, if you are done with one of the setting, then you would like to go with another setting for polar setting, you just simply change it to that setting. Say like if you are done with that custom angle and you don't like to get this custom angle during the drawing, so you got to delete that custom angle. So that thing I will also show it to you. Okay, everything that I said verbally, you'll be seeing it again in application. But the application doesn't take that much of time. All right, everything's good so far? So I'll now focus on the polar tracking. Any question? Good, everybody, right? Okay, so on the polar tracking, let me open the AutoCAD. And you already seen what I'm saying, like the custom angle thing, you got to do something like that, like the drafting setting, right? Everybody see on the screen? Okay. And then let me open the CAD. All right. So this is my CAD, right? So I was talking about the polar tracking. Okay. I'll first delete this, the one that I was using before. All right. So now you may already know how to open a new file, right? In case if you're wondering, you just want to go to file and open a new one. Okay. And then it'll gonna give you a template like this. You choose any of the template and you see the new tab came up as drawing 2. You can change the name of the drawing later when you're going to save it. But for now, let me focus on any of the drawing tabs. Say like drawing 1, that way I opened it up. Okay, and I was talking about the ortho and the polar setting. Okay, so first of all, let me turn off the snap and let me turn on the ortho. Okay, so you see here, whenever I turn on the ortho, everybody can see that. Okay, take a look on my mouse where my crosshair is hovering. Okay, do you see the ortho? So how do you know this is ortho? If you're gonna put the mouse on that ortho at the bottom right corner somewhere like that, it should show restrict cursor orthogonally on. Orthogonally means horizontal and vertical. Okay, so I turn it on, and then I'm trying to draw a rectangle by using this ortho. Okay, so I click on the line options. Now anytime you'd like to draw a rectangle, there are two options. Say like you'd like to specify a absolute coordinate. It could be like 1 1 2 3 3 1, whatever you used, or you can randomly choose a point on the drawing screen, right? So if you're going to randomly choose a point on the drawing screen, then you don't have an absolute coordinate for the whole thing, but you can control the side's length for that rectangle that I was talking, or it could be any drawing, right? So I would say like, let me first specify a point by a coordinate. So just like before, let me choose it, I don't know, 5 comma 5. All right, now you see what is happening now. My crosshair, if I'm going to move it, it can only go either vertically or horizontally, but I have an anchor point at 5 comma 5, x value 5, y value 5, right? So then say like I'd like to draw, as I'm saying, like a rectangle. In that case, I need to know the size of those sides. So like I have this x-axis 10. Okay, when I typed on the command line 10 and I press enter, I have this line created along the x-axis. Okay, and then say like in y-axis, I have this 7. You see what I did? Take a look here. I typed 7 here, right? But when I type 7 here, if I'm going to press enter this way, then I'll have another line come horizontally. But instead, I'm going to move my cursor or crosshair somewhere vertically up, and then I'm going to press enter. Okay, immediately I do that, I do have a vertical line for 7 inches. I initially had 10 inches and then the 7 inches. So obviously you kind of understand, the next line would be again horizontal on this side. Okay, but I got to specify the length 10 and then move my crosshair along the left axis and press enter. So it's done. Now the final line, I can create it. I mean, there are two different ways. I can type 7 again and press enter. It'll want to close it. Or I can simply click on the close. Remember the close in the command line, close options. All right. So that's the ortho. Any question with the ortho? Let me do a walk around, and then I'm going to show you, as I said, like polar. Okay. Our goal is to draw, after we're done with that, a complex drawing. Okay. So we can implement all of this. I'm going to show it to you here in the screen, the drawing that I'm saying. In the PowerPoint, that drawing is not there, but in the book, you have the drawing. Does everybody have the book yet? If you don't have the book still on week 3, then you have to please act very, very fast. Okay, I'm seeing some of you have the book, because without this book, this class would be a nightmare. Okay, very difficult to handle. How many of you still waiting for the book? I know everybody will order. The rest you have the book, right? You do. Everybody have the book, but like the digital or the paper copy, it doesn't really matter what we both the same price, $99, $100, something like that. But I felt like this is a good investment for you, okay? For this class, this is a investment, okay? Anyway, it was good. I'll just walk around. You got the, you got the, right? Okay. Yeah, the off. You turn it off, and then this is the off, right? I'll just say, see, there's a possibility, and then see what I'm doing? I have to make sure I'm putting it in the right direction. you the code. You see how the auto is working here. Once the auto is done, you try to draw something with auto again, and then you're gonna do the color tracking. Yes. Okay. Yeah, that you can do it two ways, as I was explaining. One is randomly to the on screen, or you can type a first axis point. I did choose the 5,5.
Yeah, I did the same thing.
And if it so yeah, this grid line has a setting that you can change wherever it's going. But if you have the 5,5 chosen, that means it's at 5.5. Okay, it makes sense.
Yeah.
So in that case, you don't have to worry. I mean, this it all depends, like how you are making it bigger or small. Make sense?
Yeah.
All right. So when you're gonna print it or plot it or export it, then you'll be seeing it probably right away. That was good. I know some students are really advanced, so if I'm gonna walk around and see you guys are doing some advanced stuff, and I'm assuming you guys understand it, okay? So let me help you. So you see, I want to say this is called octet, right? How is it meant? This is called octet. So you're doing the octet on. Why am I seeing it? What? For you, so that this is the yeah, you can see it. Okay, now let me show it to you. Okay. You see what's happening? See, it can only go by A and B. You understand? So then you have this, okay? And then you press escape so that you have the rectangle. You can switch it if you like to do. But where? So where's do you know what is the
Yeah, I do.
where's the option? You know that one is because of the select this yeah. So, okay, let's do the polar tracking that I was talking, okay? So that ortho is done. Let me take it out. Uh, and everybody please focus on here. You see, once you are done with that ortho, then you would like to choose this polar tracking. You see where my crosshair is? You see my crosshair, right? The mouse? Okay, so I'm putting that crosshair here. And that says what? Polar tracking. So I click on the polar tracking, okay? And then you have this bunch of options. Remember that was I was talking. So you can choose sets of angles. Like, you know, the ortho would be same as like 90, 180, 270, 360, right? Or there could be like 90, 45, 135, 180. Let me choose this one, okay? And I'm gonna randomly draw something with this choose an option. Again, what are the options that I choose? 45, 90, 135, something like that, right? And then let's try to draw a polygon, okay? And I'm gonna obviously use the line options. Okay, I click on the line. And as I said, like I can specify a point by simply typing that point values, or I can randomly choose somewhere on the screen, right? And then this is the beauty. See, if I'm gonna move my cursor horizontally, it's tracking 0 degree, right? It's tracking fine. And when I'm gonna moving it to certain angles, so like when it comes to 30, it's showing me. But if you remember, I didn't have 30. I have like the 45 was a starting point, right? So most likely, what happened here? I had this manual 30-degree chosen. So let me verify that. You see that when I choose that option, then I was seeing like I have this 30-degree already manually input over there, right? So what I can do now, let me delete that, okay? So you'd be seeing like, okay, all right. So you'd be seeing like, okay, if the 30-degree showed up again or not. So far, everybody's with me? All right. So come back to see that again. I'll gonna look for that 30-degree, and you would be seeing there is no more 30-degree snap is happening. Okay. So I have this 0 again, right? As you can see. And then if I'm gonna move the crosshair or cursor, I don't have 30-degree showed up. Okay. The first angle showed up now, this 45. And that was the thing, right? I choose that 45, 90, 180. You remember that? So that was the thing. Now that 30 is not showed up. So what I'm gonna do, just to demonstration purpose, I'm gonna go with the 45, right? And then this next thing is, again, I can do the 0, okay? I can do the 45, okay, or I can do a 90. Now obviously, you gotta give the value of that line, right? So whatever the distance that you are looking, say like this line is 4, so I press 4, so I click on 4 and then I press enter, then I have this line created. Now it will gonna give me the options that to go with like 180 or other options as well, like 135. So the other option is 135, right? Because I now had, like you see, this 45, 90, 135, 180. Doesn't make sense. So again, 0, 45, 90, 135. So that's the option I choose. Now what if I have a different angle? Say like I have an angle of 110, and that's not there on that options, right? So I'd like to manually put that 110, right? And I'd like to see that 110 is showing up to me. Is it clear to everyone? So how to do that? So I mean, it's very straightforward. I'm gonna come every time I have an issue here with the options. I'm gonna come here and on the polar tracking, okay, and then click on the arrow next to it, and then I have this tracking settings. The last thing, everybody see that where my mouse is? I'm gonna click there, and a drafting setting will gonna come up. Okay, once the drafting setting come up, I have a new angle. What is that angle that I was talking? It is 110, right? You can literally have any angle that whatever you need to do, right? So I have this 110. I choose this 110, right? And then I gotta press OK. And now let me do one thing. Sorry. Okay, now I'm gonna click on the line again. do you guys remember when I escape on the line and I click on the line, if I'd like to start from where I left off, the last endpoint of the last line, then what am I going to do? Click on the line and press enter, right? So I click on the line and see, I press enter. Immediately, see what happened? My mouse cursor is now starting with the last point where I left off. Everybody remember that? So now what we're trying to see, we're trying to see whether we can see this 110 or not, right? The 110 manually that I put over there. So let's just see first. So I have this 0 again, I have this 45 again, I have this 90 again, and here's the beauty. See, I do have the 110 now. Everybody see that? So like I have this, you understand what I'm saying, like the 110 angle, right? So like this, I have 2 or the length is 2 for this 110. Okay, I'm putting my cursor at 110 and my length is 2, like 2 inches, right? And I now have this 110 degree and I have this 2 length, right? And then you see here the mouse cursor now can be moved again just like before to any. So I would like to put it at 180, and I don't know, maybe I'm gonna choose some random some random length, say like the 7-inch. You see that? Now I can continue doing the same thing like with other angles, right? What could be the other angles I have? See, I have the next angle is 225. I have the other angle could be 270. I have the other angle could be 315. And it is like 45-degree interval, right? As it started from 0, then 45, then 90, then you see what I'm saying, 135, then 180. So that way it will gonna keep progress. So whatever angle you need, except any custom one like 110 that I had, you should be showed up on that screen at whatever angle that you'd like to go for the next point. Okay. Anytime you need more than 110 as a custom angle, you just go over there on the settings, right? You see that drafting setting, you just manually put that angle just like the way I was showing, and then you should be good to go. Okay. And then obviously I don't want to go any of these. I'm gonna remind you with another options on the line. Remember the close options? So I'm gonna click on the close, right? And then it'll gonna close it. I didn't want it to do that. There is a reason, because it did came on that option. You guys remember that my line was kind of started from that point. That's why it did came up over there. But don't worry, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna delete that, right? And then I'm gonna take that line option again. And in this case, I'm gonna do the snap option. This is the first time I'm showing you the snap option. Okay, so see here, everybody, there is an option called snap where my mouse is hovering, and it does says what, like snap cursor to 2D reference point on. Do you see that snap option, everybody? Please make sure it's visible to you, like it's turned on. Once I click on the snap option, then when my crosshair is moving to the last point wherever I'd like to go, it's just giving me a green small rectangle with the crosshair. Everybody see that? So you'd like to use that option this time, and then use the other option to close this. See that? It was good. So that is like the polar setting, and that could be one of the last thing before we're gonna draw a complex drawing from the book. Okay, and I'm gonna give you another one as a homework, but I do have 2 drawings in the book, which we'll be using one of them here in class, another one will be homework. Okay, and the final thing would be, after we are done with that, is just like reviewing some options on layers. Okay, what are the layers thing? We won't be using layer too much, and then we're going to conclude this chapter. So that is the agenda for today's class. It is 9:45. I'm gonna now walk around, make sure everybody understand this polar tracking that I was talking. Okay, once I have some kind of good assurance that you understand, then I'm gonna show you like what plot. I'm gonna actually show you like how to do that, and I'll make sure everybody can do that, the complex drawing that I was talking. And then kind of we are done with this chapter 2. Okay, except the layers options. Okay, I'm gonna talk about that as well. Okay, so as I'm saying, I'll now walk around, and then our goal is to get a very complex one, not very complex, a little bit complex one, complex drawing. Okay, yes. What if the students are full scale? So, yeah. No. It's not.
So maybe it's just written plus.
Yeah.
So see how it's like asking
The different options. Yeah.
just a option.
Yeah.
Maybe
Control N, right? Control N. So now we can do it. So the ribbon, your ribbon has to show. So this is the problem. I don't know if you are here in the first person. Yeah. So there are different options. Yeah. I mean, you have the ribbons, right? But the ribbons are like this. Show them title. Show them. We still have. You understand the polar tracking that I was talking? So you want to draw something similar? What I do? Yeah. You want to draw something similar? Try it. So the line, right? And then you want to display points. It's at 5,5, right? So that's your starting point. Different. Okay. So 5,5, right? What did I do here? Right. Now what you see here is so now you see you are at 5,5. What do? You want to draw something randomly, and you wanna use this polar track, okay? And you see this one is optic, this one is polar, right? On the polar, first of all, you got to choose the process angle that you want to do. So like this one, all right. So now what is that you're getting at? So you see, if you're gonna keep the mouse horizontally across here, that's is 0 degree. You see that's 0 degree? And then if you're gonna move it to 45, you're gonna show you that's when 45 is. You're gonna move it here 19. I'm gonna show you. See, does it make sense? So it's 135, right? That way you're gonna do. Now the obvious thing would be like for the first one, say like you'd like to draw something at 45 instead of length of 10, right? So what now happen? You now have this length 10, right? And the next one say like you'd like to go vertically, right? So another 5, right? You see that? Now the third one, maybe you don't like to go 135, right? Maybe you like to go something in between 90 and 135. Whatever your choice. So how to do that? So you wanna go here and go tracking settings, and you wanna do like addition of angles, right? One angle, so like 110, right? And now take a look here. So this was your 90, right? Used to be like 90 then 125. Remember that? Now you're gonna have 110 came up. You see the 110 came up, and then you I don't know, maybe you're gonna choose 5 for this 110, right? And then kind of finish this thing, I don't know, maybe. Again, for example, you'd like to go with this 5. Okay, and now maybe you'd like to close it, right? So two ways you can do that. Now, if you want to move the cursor to the endpoint, most likely you're going to close it as long as the snap is on. This is for snap, right? You see? Or you can do there's another option of close here. You can click on the close, you will close to the last one. Okay? These are the things that we learned so far. Okay? Yes. You good? Good. All right. You good, right? You understand everything? Good. And you good? You understand everything that one thing, that manual angle that I put everywhere. You understand? I mean, some of the students are very advanced. The way I'm saying, if you are in that state, I only probably you're good, Jason. Some of the students requires a little bit more attention initially. I would say at some point they're gonna get it probably. What about you guys? Is good? Get the manual angle thing? Get the manual angle thing? Okay, perfect. Alright, let me now show to you what we'll be doing next. Okay. So now you need the book. Okay, your slide doesn't have that. Let me open the slide as well. All right, now come back here. You see, this is the thing that we just finished, right? The polar tracking, the extra angle that I was talking, right? And then it just talks about the next few layers. It talks about different layers. Okay, the layer option is the last thing that we'd be doing. As I said, our agenda today is like, draw another complex drawing, and obviously in the PowerPoint it doesn't have any. Okay, so where you'd be looking at, you'd be looking at here in the book. So everybody please open the book. Everybody have the book? No? So from next class on, you got to bring the book. Okay, if you have a printed version, if you have a digital version, you can open it, right? Just the way I'm doing. So I do have the digital version and printed both. So let me show it to you what I'm referring. Okay, again, in this class, if you don't have the book, from next class on, I want everybody to bring the book. If it's a digital copy, open it as well. Okay, so why I'm saying all of this, let me quickly show you what I was talking. Okay, all right. So there are this drawing was the homework, right? If I'm not mistaken. Just one second. Let me try to go to. Okay. There's this easy one that you can do definitely. Oh, I have another thing to show you. I mean, that was a very small thing, like different types, the selection technique. Like architectural mode, servers mode, those sort of thing. Okay, I'm going to show it to you, and at least talk about the details about those different options. Okay, but for now, let's just focus on the drawing. Okay, after the polar tracking. Okay, so this is the drawing. I know you haven't done it yet, right? Nobody did this drawing. This was not in the homework, right? So that's new. So there are like two drawings here. So we'll be doing this one in class. Okay, and there's the other one, we're gonna do it in homework. Okay, where's the other one I'm talking? The other one is, let me quickly show you the homework one. Okay, just one second. It does have all the steps on the book how to do that. This one would be on the homework. Okay, everyone understand? Okay, so now let me go back here. I've seen some of the students are done both already. Okay, so they are kind of in advanced state. If you are in that state, just please go and take a break, come back after 10 minutes. Okay, something like that. For next 10 minutes we'll be doing it. Okay, if you'd like to do something else, just do it here as well. But if you're done with those drawing that I'm showing, because I mean almost like 30-40% student I see they are done already. Okay, so anyway, this is our goal now. Okay, so please try to draw it, and don't worry, I'm gonna obviously do it myself as well at the end. Okay, for now I'll just explain how to approach this problem. Okay, and then you try to do it by yourself. And as I said, if you're done already with that, just do whatever in class, or you can take a break. Okay, and we actually have to take a break anyway. This is almost an hour already. But let me first give you a brief. So I'm gonna give you time, your own time, whatever way you wanna do. So here, what we're seeing, we gotta do this complex shape polar tracking. Okay, on that drawing, you have. I'm sorry. On that drawing, okay, perfect. Okay, on that drawing, you have this bottom line is 6 inch. The top one is 6 inch as well, and that's the thing about the drawing. I don't know how much you know about the drawing. If you know drawing, you have the same length, thing symmetric. Then they don't show all the dimensions. Okay, as an example, the bottom line you're seeing 6 inch. Your common sense tells you that top one is symmetric, top one should be 6 inch as well. Okay, that's a that's a very important thing about drawing. Remember that. Okay, now moving on. What are you gonna do? How to deal with this 6 inch line? Okay, you have two options. First, if they ask you to specify the first point with a coordinate value, okay, just like in first class, in last class we have learned, okay, say like that coordinate value is 5, 5, right? Means x-axis 5, y-axis 5, 5, 5. So then you type this 5, 5, and then your start point is gonna show up. If they didn't give you any specific point to start with, what are you gonna do? You wanna click anywhere on the screen, the model screen, okay, to get the first point. Once you click that, then it's asking you if your polar tracking is on. By the way, you would be doing this whole drawing by keeping the polar tracking on. You know what is polar tracking, the thing that it did, right? So then you're gonna type like 6, and then you're gonna have the next point, like the first line, second point, right? Once you have the next point, then you have this second line come up with 45-degree angle in the first line. And here's the thing, how to get that one. Now on polar tracking, you have a bunch of options on the angles. You have seen that, right? They have sets of angles. The first one is obviously 90, 180, 270, and 360. The second one, they are giving you the option for what? 45, 90, 135. Just the one that you use. You want to choose that one because you're seeing clearly you have 45-degree angles here, right? So once you choose that option from tracking, then you're gonna draw the second line. Now you wanna move the crosshair from the second point of the first line to that 135-degree angle, right? Even though it says like 45, but we're gonna subtract that 45 from 180. Remember that? So that would be actually 135-degree angle. Does it make sense? So your second line cursor is gonna move for 135, and then you're gonna type the length of the second line. What is the length of the second line? It does specify it for you, which is 1.414. Is it clear to everyone? All right, you just type that value. You have this 135. You press enter. You settle and done. Okay. How are you gonna deal with the third line then, right? So obviously you're gonna move the cursor along with this 180-degree angle, right? And then you're gonna type the values like 2. Okay. Makes sense? Then your third line appears. How to deal with the fourth one? Fourth one is straightforward. It is going up, so 90 degrees, right? You move your cursor to 90 degrees, you type 2. It's not going to come up, right? And that same way you can finish the whole drawing. It makes sense. How many lines I explained? 1, 2, 3, 4 lines I explained, right? Can you deal with the polygon? So I'm giving you some time. So here's the thing, like it's 10. I gotta give you some break. So let's put it this way. Like take 5 minutes break for now. If you want to, if you don't want to, you can finish this drawing. Whatever it is, within next 5 minutes, I won't be asking anything. After that 5 minutes done, I'll be walking around and see if you need any help. I'll be expecting you finish it by 10 or something like that, or 10:15. That's my timeline, okay? By 10:10 to 10:15, would like to finish this whole thing, okay? And then I'll start drawing myself and explain everything, in real life. Okay, that's the plan, okay? So you know what to do. Next 5 minutes, I won't be talking with you unless if you ask me and talk with me, okay? Because this is a break time.
So it's like, go to,
All right. It's a little bit frustrating so far. How you guys are doing? I know the direction is proper, and I'm expecting you start drawing that, except those who are already done, obviously. So if you start to draw that, if you're having an issue, assuming you just started drawing that, if you're having any issue, this is your time while I'm walking around. Show me whatever your issue, so I can help you start with. Okay. How to start, right? So you have two choices, right? Yeah. So then you have two options. You can either click randomly anywhere where you'd like to start with first point, or obviously you choose a line of the line, and then choose anywhere. Or you can type a specific point that you'd like to start with. You know the coordinate system like that one. In this one, they did specify a specific point. So you can randomly choose any point here on the screen. Okay, whatever you feel. It doesn't matter, whatever you feel. Okay? Okay. Now, don't do anything. You take it, right? So now after you take it, so you suppose just to draw the first line, right? And you see here clearly the first line is 6 inch, right? So you gotta go at this horizontal, right? So you gotta snap it to 0. So when it comes to 0, that means you're on the right track. And now you gotta type. You see here, it's asking you to type. What are you gonna type? 6 inch, 6, press enter, 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 enter. This is enter. Okay. So what happened now? Nothing happened. Something happened. Don't do anything. See? So that's your line. Now why it's showing so small? You don't worry about that at all. See, in the past few classes we did learn about that. So you're gonna actually start watching the video, right? Otherwise you're gonna fall behind such a way that you can't come back. It makes sense? Maybe it's small tiny details, but I'll try my best to help you, but still you gotta watch on the video, you gotta make sure you've done the previous thing. Okay? Alright, so the first line is done. What is the second line? See, did you see the snap is on here? Take a look here. The snap is on, right?
Yeah.
So that means it'll only come to the second point here, right? So click on the second point. But ideally, since you had this messed up before, that's why. Ideally, you don't have to click on the line again because it's not gonna show you the second point and the third point, wherever you'd like to go. The third point, it needs to go where? Like this 45. Now here's the thing. Is it like, are you sure you got the 45? How do you know? Does it show 45 here or it just showing 135? It is probably showing 135, right? So how do you know? See, did you choose this? You choose this one, right? So you have this 45 is like this, right? 45 like this way. But if you want to go this way, this is 135. Does it make sense? And how big is this line? Did you choose 1.414? No. So you see, you gotta first make sure you have this, right? So you have it obviously. And then the second thing would be you gotta make sure that line is what? 1.414. So what you gonna do? Let me show you the first one, okay? Because I feel like you need a little bit more help. So here, you click on this and see you have this 45 came up, right? And then 90 came up, right? And then 135 came up. So that's in 1.5, right? Now you have this left is 1.414, not 6. So you're gonna type this 1.414, right? So yeah, 414. No, you type 44. 1.414. You enter. What is happening? See? The line came up. So what do you do? The next one, you understand? So that's the way you want to say. Listen now. Oh, this is not what you're doing now.
Oh yeah,
Oh, you are not doing that. So this is the annotation. We're not doing the annotation now. This is the annotation, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that thing. Oh yeah. No, yeah, I understand. That is not a thing that I'd like to show. So that's they call this thing architectural image. So yeah, yep, you got it there. So you have this there. So now they have different options how to type this architectural image. Okay, and yeah. So there's architecture image entry method. Okay. So you were doing like this one, right? Board. So something similar to this, I guess. So you can type it either way or this, right? So you have this first one is 10 inches and 6.5, right? And this one is 4. Sorry. Come back here. This is 10 feet and 6.5 inches, right? So this is like what? 4 feet 5.25 inches, right? So two ways you can do that. Like you can literally do it similarly, or you can do it this way as well. Right? Your choice. Got it? You see how important the book is? Alright, everybody's done? And you do? You see that? All right. So see, the same thing you did it in the homework as well, right? Everybody see that, right? The same thing you did in the homework, but that's for what? The absolute coordinate, the relative one, and this is the polar with the angle you type manually, but this time you are doing it by polar tracking, right? You understand that? You might be wondering what you're doing, doing the same homework again. No, you're doing the polar tracking, okay? So I walked around, feel like almost everybody got it, right? I mean, please raise your hand if you need my in-person help. If not, then what I'll be doing next, agenda-wise, I'm gonna quickly show it to you how did I do that, right? What you gotta do. And then obviously I'm gonna move on like the layers, and I do have other things to show it to you, units and other thing, right? Like the architectural unit, the surveyor units, what those things means for, right? All right, so let's start with that. So what I'll be doing next, moving this thing here. Okay. So I can see it in my end, and I'm gonna start drawing. And on the drawing itself, right, I will gonna undo everything. All right, so then what I'd be doing again, remember, I gotta draw the first line, and they didn't specify any specific point. So I'll randomly click on the screen, and my first line is 6, right? So I'm gonna type 6. You see on the command line, immediately that 6 showed up. I'll press enter. No, I'm sorry. It does need to be tracked at 0. It was not at 0 before, 0 degree. So it's in 0 degree now. I'll just type 6 on the command line, and I'll press enter. I now have the line which is 6 inches long. Is it clear to everyone? All right. So what's the next thing you want to do? You wanna draw a line which is 1.414 inches long with the angle of 45 with the horizontal line. But in the polar tracking, you can't do the 45. You see, if you're gonna do the 45, it won't be showing this way. You have to do 135, right? So you are doing 135, and you're typing this 1.414, right? And press enter. Now you have this line. And then this line, this third line from the second line last point, we're gonna go 180 horizontally on the left side, which is 2 inches. I type 2, and then it will gonna go vertically 2 inches again, right? I type 2, then it will gonna go horizontally again 2 inches. I type 2, then it will gonna go at 45 degree angle for 1.414, right? I typed again, and then it will gonna go up to 6 inches horizontally on left side. I typed again, and then it will gonna come down to 1 inch, right? For this 270 angle, and then it will gonna come down to 315, which is 45, by the way, for horizontal, 315, right? So 315 degree for 1.414, right? They didn't specify the value, but I'm assuming it's the same value. And then it'll gonna come back to the same 45-degree angle, right? But you gotta choose 225 degree, right? And you gotta type this 1.414, right? And then finally you can do two options. You can close it, or you can type the exact value. The exact value would be 1 inch, but I'd prefer closing it, okay? And that way you will have the whole thing showed up. Now you don't have any dimension showed up. We are not on that chapter yet. We are still drawing something based on the dimensions given. In this case, again, we did with polar tracking. We didn't use any manual angle in this one. What if instead of this 45, we have 30 degree, right? Or we have 33 degree, or we have some other angles which is not there anywhere completely. Again, you got to go to the tracking setting. You see what I'm doing now on the screen? Everybody please pay focus. So you got to go tracking setting. You got to do something in the drafting setting here. So I had this 110. So like you don't need the 110. You need something else. So like you need like 50 degree, right? Angle I'm talking, new angle. You click on here and you see anytime I have this line option chosen, and now I have this 50 degree showed up, right? You see, I have this 45 and then I have this 50 degree. Did you see? Okay, so that's the thing, very important. Please make sure you understand that. Any question on this, the drawing that I did? Raise your hand if you need any help on this drawing. You need? Good? Everybody's good? Polar tracking, understand the manual angle, everything? You're in very good shape if you understand so far what I just said. Okay, so then obviously let me give you a quick overview, right? Means what is coming in the homework. In the homework for today's one, right? Not that much things are coming. Just the drawing. I did show it to you already, right? But I'm gonna show it to you again because I gotta talk a little bit here. Did you see? This is the drawing that you gotta draw in the homework, right? That would be homework number 3. Now here, obviously, see these angles 110, this angle 70. These are the manual angle. Just to give you a heads up, you gotta enter those angles, right? This is the way I was showing it to you. Any question on that? If you don't need help, then you should be able to draw it very easily. And the beauty of this book or this class would be, anytime I'm giving something, it's actually most likely from the book. And I mean, once I feel like very confident, then I'm going to give some advanced stuff, obviously. But most of the time it's from the book. And you see, they have even the instructions how to do the homework, right? So if you are feeling like not too confident, then you do have all the instructions here, right? Jerry, you got it? You good? So the homework instruction that I was showing, okay? These are the homework instructions even showing. So it's so straightforward. If you're going to try it, you have all the steps here, okay, at home. Anyway, if there's no more questions, I'd like to move on. Any question? Everything's good? Okay, perfect. All right. So now the moving on means, obviously, let me try to see what's in my PowerPoint. I'm done up to this. Now there's this layer, but your PowerPoint does miss something. No, not something. It was shown before somewhere. I know. No, your PowerPoint. Yeah, this PowerPoint doesn't show that, but don't worry. I'm going to show it to you where in the book that you can find what I'm trying to talk now. So let me move on. Oh, so there is this other one that I'm going to give it to you in homework as well, okay? So there will be like 2 problems. Did you see this one? This one seems like really complex, but it is not that bad. As you can see, you have all the dimensions and the angles are given everywhere, right? Time to time, you have to choose those manual angles. Any question with this one? See, it's a little scary. You can handle that one, right? So that is coming in homework number 3. Along with that problem, that one I'm showing. Any question? It does look a little scary, right? Don't worry, I'm going to help you, right? So I'm gonna give you end of this week to submit that. Okay. So next class you'll have the options. Please try it before you come. If you are feeling like you are shaky, you have issues, whatever. In next class you can show it to me so I can help you. Okay. So that's my suggestion. Okay. In class, show it to me. All right. So then moving on. Okay. There's this layer thing. Okay. Keep showing me the layer, but the thing I'd like to show it to, I'd like to show it to you in the book first. Like these units options. I don't know. It's somewhere in the book, but don't worry. Yeah, I found it finally. Um, all right. These are very important stuff. Okay. Please pay attention. This is very, very important. Drawing units. Okay. All right. From here. So drawing units. The page number in your book is 53. If you have a physical copy of your book, open 53. If you have a digital copy, open 53. Very important. Okay. This one. Why I said like very three times, you'll understand shortly. Okay, first let's focus what we're trying to do here. We're trying to understand the drawing units. Why so important? Okay, so like you are dealing with any drawing. So like the drawing for the layout for this office building here or this level right? You have those layout here. If we start to explore all the 3D or sorry 2D drawing in PC, they have this dimension specified as like 10 feet. I'm giving you an example. So like 10 feet, 2.5 inches, right? Or 30 feet, 5 and 3/4 inches. I mean, you're going to see they specify the dimensions that way, right? How do you specify those dimensions, right? On the final drawing. Okay, there are different ways you can deal with these drawing units. Like to give you options, like you can deal with the drawings in decimal units, right? You can deal with the drawings in architectural units. You can deal with the drawings in servers unit. Does it make sense? So there are different options, and what does it mean? What does it mean, right? For those different options, let me show it to you. So the first one, they have this obviously the decimal one, right? So let me, I'm going to show it to you in the AutoCAD, right? Let me first show it to you in the book, okay? In the book, because in the PowerPoint, it doesn't have this thing in detail, okay? I want everybody to read everything on these pages from this point on, next few pages. Make sure you do that because this is the one you would be using all the time to do a professional drawing, okay? So what you want to do first, you want to go with the drawing utilities where you can click on the application menu, okay, and then this thing will gonna show up, and as I said, I'm gonna show it to you again in the AutoCAD, and then here the units. So you're gonna choose the units, right? And then this another window is gonna pop up. This should says drawing units, right? And on the drawing units you have the type of the unit, which is decimal. You can choose that one. You know, decimal means like point something, okay? Or you can choose the angle type to different angles like the degree, architectural, like surveyors. We're going to talk more about it, okay? Let me go to the next page. All right, on the next page, you see they explain what means the decimal units. Like they said like, okay, if the decimal unit shows up like, you know, four precisions, right? Four significant digit, as an example, like 7500, you don't have to type that 00. You just want to type like 0.75. That will gonna do it. Okay, does it make sense? So in other words, say like your length of a line is like 2.75. You type just simply 2.75, not 2.07500. Okay, but it will going to show you at 00. Now you can change the precision level from 4 precision to 2 or whatever, right? Or even 0. So these are the options for that. Not too important, but it's still important. But these two are so important, like this surveyors unit and this architectural units. Okay, what does those things means? Okay, you see, it does have a picture on next to the explanation here. So if you want to choose with the architectural unit, you have to choose the type to architectural unit. If you want to choose the surveyors unit, you got to change the angle type to surveyors unit. Okay, so that's why students sometimes get confused. Okay, let's talk about the surveyors unit first. Okay, what it's talking here. Okay, and again, look like this north to south, that's the reference point. And if you're gonna go from north to south to start an angle to east and west, they have E and W, okay, to that angle. Okay, does it make sense? So that's all you gotta do. I won't be doing it here in this class, but I gotta introduce you what is there. Okay, so if you're gonna see some drawing with this, all those things like with like 0W, 30W, with north and something, don't get confused. That's the surveyor unit. Even it's still in AutoCAD. Okay, so now the question is the architectural unit. Okay, what does it mean? The architectural unit means like if you like to display the length of anything in terms of not like fraction or decimal points, you'd like to display it like feet and inches. As an example that I was saying, like 10 feet 5 inches, 10 feet 5.5 inches. Okay, so how gonna type it, right? First of all, you got to choose this. You see here, architecture, the length type. Everybody see that? The bottom one. That's the thing. You got to choose it. Okay, and then how to type it, right? One student was asking how to type it. Okay, and then I kind of point that student towards this page, which I'm gonna show it to you, everybody, and I'm gonna show it to you in the book as well, like in a practical example. You see, that's how I'm gonna type the architectural length. Okay, say like as an example, you have this 10.5 feet, right? So how to type it? You can type it 10 and then one line, which is the feet, and 6, 2 lines, because half is like 6 inches. You know that, right? Half feet. So half is 6 inches, 6, then 2 lines, which is inches. Everyone know that, right? One superscript line is the feet. Double line superscript is the inches. Everyone know that, right? Okay. So that's how you're gonna type it. So they clearly have the direction here, how to type the architectural units here. Everyone understand this? This is also pretty important. You'll be seeing all the time that units are displayed this way. Okay, you need to know where it is. I mean, I don't ask you to remember, memorize that. But when time comes, if you forgot on anything, then you come. This is your reference point. Okay, or you can simply Google it. It should be showing that way, or help on the help. It can be showing that way as well. Okay. Any questions so far? Uh, any questions so far? It is good. All right. Let me see what I can do. I'd like to show you a practical example first. Okay, that you gotta use those. Not here. Yeah, this one. Perfect example. Everybody see that, right? So what we're seeing here, we have this polygon, because this is not a rectangle, multiple lines, right? Everybody see that? So we have this polygon and we have this length in architectural unit, right? So you have this 45 as an example, 45 feet and 3 inches. You have this 4 feet and 5.25 inches. Now, if you have to draw that, that could be your third problem in the homework, okay? If you have to draw that, how are you going to do that? You see, you got to refer to that page that I was showing you, the architectural units, okay? Don't worry, I want to show you like some examples, okay? As I'm saying, but not this one. This one, so not this one, but I'm going to show you a simple example to draw say like a rectangle with all those things. As you can see here clearly, if you are given with like this 32 feet, like 5 inches, 4 feet and 5 quarters, it's complex, right? How to type this value? You have the reference for. Remember the table that shows you like how to type different values, but I'm going to show you as well a simple one of this one. Any question? And that's the last thing that we're doing today. And except that we do have the layers. I'll talk about the layers, not like we're implementing any layer things. Okay? Any questions so far? Everyone understand? All right. So let me show you quickly what I was talking. Okay, so obviously the AutoCAD platform that I'm gonna go next. Okay, so this is my AutoCAD platform, right? On that one, obviously, I'm going to take out everything that I have, right? So what was I showing? First of all, you got to go application menu. Everybody remember where is the application menu? Just click on A. Everybody please click on A. And then here it is drawing utilities. Just click on that or move your mouse over there. Everybody did that? Once you did that, then you have the options for units. You want to click on the units. I don't want to click it right away. I'd like to make sure everybody see what I'm showing. Okay, so they can go to the units. Okay, let me know when you're done. Okay, I'm hoping you guys are done. Obviously not you're seeing anything because it did came up in the other screen, but now you're seeing it. You should have something similar which says drawing units. Now which one to choose? Which one to choose? Here, as you can see, on the type, you can choose the architectural because that's the thing that we are doing, right? Not the surveyor units, by the way, you can choose that surveyor units from here, the angle types, right? And you can see clearly you have this north, south with east and west, and that thing is normally not the thing that we use all the time. We're gonna just go with the decimal degrees, right? And we're gonna choose the architectural, the length type. Make sure everybody choose the architectural, the length type, and you see where to choose it. Did you see everyone that I click where length type and this drop down menu pull up and then I have to choose the architectural. Now it does says here what is the precision that you want. Okay, remember on the decimal you had a precision for four digits, right? Here it says 1/16 of inches. That's the precision you want, or there are other options as well, right? As you can see, it can go up to 1 by 256, so very precise. Okay, but anyway, you say like you choose like 1/16, 1/16 inch. That does it mean that much precise it can go? And everybody got it so far? Because I'm gonna press OK and I'll show you a simple demonstration. Then I'll just simply leave this topic. Okay, I won't be talking anymore. Okay, maybe I'm gonna do a overview, quick overview kind of thing, but that's it. Any question? All right, I choose that. Now obviously would like to see it like real life, right? So I click on the line, right? Obviously, and as I said before, I can choose a point by typing the coordinate, or I randomly click on somewhere, right? And then you see we're still on polar tracking, right? It's fine, we can do the polar tracking. Now this time we're trying to draw a line with a length architectural type, means by feet and inches, right? Let's start with a simple one. So let's start with, I would say like I'm gonna put my mouse here. So let's say I'm gonna type like 5 feet and then 5 inches. What just happened? I'm not seeing my endpoint, because you got to understand now we have 5 feet. So I mean, how to see that? This different way you can do, right? You can move things. Okay, and it's a very big one, right? It's a 5 feet, but it's perfectly all right. I mean, then what do you want to do? Maybe you want to draw another line, right? Which would be going from the last point of the last one, right? And maybe you want to do a trapezoid. Okay, so like for 45, so instead of 5 feet this time, say like you have just I don't know, 0 feet 6 inches. Do you see? So I have a line just created for 6 inches. Ever see that? All right. So then I don't know, that trapezoid I can choose like 5 feet only, the next line. Okay, so I'm gonna just simply type 5, and I'm gonna close it, right? There's a thing happened because I had the first line. You see, I have a way around on that one as well, so don't worry. So I can delete that and then I'm gonna type it again. And for that, I gotta make sure the snap is on. Everybody remember the snap? And then I'm gonna just simply connect it manually. All right. Any question with the architectural unit? Anyone? No? The last thing. Yep.
So when you have so say it's 6 feet 2 1/4 inch.
Yep. Let me go to that table, because that table is the let's see. How gonna?
Is that where that table comes in?
Yeah, the table. The table has some example. Where's the table?
Because in the book it said 1 and then dash 3 divided by 4, so 3/4.
1-3 divided. Yep.
And that would be like,
Yep. You can do it that way.
okay.
Yep. You got to use this dash. So here, everybody, please focus on this table.
Okay.
This is so important. I mean, you have the entry method. Either way, it is going to work, right? So a complex example could be, I don't know. This one is a complex example, like 10 feet, 6.5 inches, right? You see, and you can obviously type it this way, the one it shows, but you can type it either way as well. So 10 feet dash 6.5. The last one is, I feel like, easier, right? You don't have to put inches common or anything. But as you can see, it can be typed so many different ways, okay? And just follow one of that technique and then stick with that, so that way you don't have to remember all of that, okay? Whatever feels that easier to you. Everything's good? Should I move on? Let me walk just for a second, and then I'm gonna quickly show you some of the things of the layers, right? The layers, that nothing that we'll be doing here though. Today's class, at some point definitely we're gonna do. But today's class, I'm gonna simply introduce you, and that's the last thing of this chapter, chapter 2. Okay, I'm gonna simply introduce you different things on the layers. Okay, and the best way of dealing with that, with this time constraint, I have 10 minutes, is not from the book, but the book has so much detail on it, okay, rather from the PowerPoint. Everybody see it as, again, the last thing. Let me give you a little bit brief about the layers, why it's so important, and this could be a perfect example of explaining why the layers are important. Okay, what you're seeing here is cat. All right, here in this cat, you're seeing different colors, right? I mean, it's not visible that much, but we are definitely seeing some colors. We're definitely seeing some line width. We are definitely seeing some line height, right? As an example, to explain this figure, right, or this 2D diagram, you have this dotted line, right? Usually, you guys learn some basic drawing, right, in intro classes. And I did teach intro classes. You guys remember the hidden lines? Everybody remember the hidden lines? So that dotted line that you're seeing at the outer periphery is called hidden lines. Okay. So maybe you have a bunch of hidden lines in a complex drawing. Maybe, just maybe, you would like to keep all the hidden lines in one layer. Okay? You understand? Because what could be your motivation to do all the hidden lines in one layer? Because the hidden lines, first of all, the line height is different. Second of all, the hidden line width, maybe you'd like to go with like a smaller size line width, right? So it should show thin, right? Maybe you'd like to put it in a different color. Your choice, right? But all the hidden lines in the drawing, in a complex one, this is not a complex one. You just come here, walk around, just look for any of these things, you're gonna see complex one. Every drawings are complex, right? Complex in a sense, like so many things involved, right? Not like you can do it, you can draw it obviously, but it's complex in a sense, so detailed. So hidden line, you understand? Now what are the other things that you're seeing here? Obviously not the hidden lines only, the central line. You guys are familiar with the central line? You guys are familiar with the annotation? You guys are familiar with the object line? You see what I just said, like all this vocabulary? So the object line is the drawing itself, right? The same thing goes here as well, like the line weight, the line type, the line color, for the object line, for the whole drawing, you would like to keep it in one setting. So that would be your layer. Does it make sense? The same thing would be the dimensions, right? So maybe you'd like to show all the dimensions in one layer, right? So another layer for dimensions. You understand? So far what I said, the hidden lines, the object lines, the dimensions, already three things I said. Three different layers, right? You understand? So you understand the importance of the layers and why we usually use them, right? Any question? All right, let me move to the other page. Now, obviously, after these layers, yep, on this one. So first of all, let me quickly show you where in the AutoCAD you have these layers and some of the things you'd like to see it visually and then on the PowerPoint, right? So as an example, you see on the AutoCAD itself, right? Yeah, on the AutoCAD itself, you see on the ribbon, you see everybody see where my mouse is hovering? That's the layers are, okay? Jerry, please pay focus. So everybody see where my mouse is hovering is where my layers are, okay? So on that layers itself, let me quickly introduce and then I'll show it to you in the PowerPoint. That will going to help you, okay? So first of all, in the drop down here, you see I only have two layers because I was trying to create another layer, okay? So I have two layers. You will have a default layer. You can obviously change the name of that, okay? Let me first quickly show it to you here, okay? And then I'll show it to you in the PowerPoint so you can connect. See, did you see the drop down menu that I was showing? So you have multiple layers. Now I have two. Now again, it could have like 4 layers that I was talking. Hidden line, object line, annotation. What else? Center line. It depends. All those layers could have different colors, right? This is the drop down menu. All this thing can appear. Okay. What are the other things? It's much easier to understand on the actual application and then see in the PowerPoint, then you're going to remember. So please pay focus what I'm showing. Okay. All right. So the other things that you're seeing here, just okay. So this one, it says off. What off? That particular layer that you are working on. Okay. Now in your book, they have the details about this layer on and off. See, just to give an example. So like in the PowerPoint, they just show you what is off and on, right? But in the book, they explain, even if when you turn it off, you can still draw it. Okay? So those are the details. What are the problems that you may face if you're going to draw it? Yeah, so you see, if you are drawing after you're turning it off, so you're going to have two mismatch on that. You don't want to do that. And then it suggests you don't go on that direction. But why you need to turn off a layer? Why? So like you don't like to draw anything on that particular layer. You'd like to not work on that layer. So you turn it off completely. So nobody can mess around with anything on that layer. You understand? There is one similar function of this turn on and off, which is called freeze. Okay. Where it is located? Here. You see, it's called freeze. Everybody see that? And thaw. So you see, as if like you're putting your food in the freezer, okay, and you can't do anything about it, and you'd like to eat it, so you took it out and thaw it for a while, right? So you have this freeze and thaw, and these are pretty much the same thing as like turn on and turn off any particular layer we're talking. But obviously, when you are choosing the freeze, that has limited advantage, I would say. So that means you can't do anything on that layer. Okay, you're freezing completely. But when you're turning it off, still you can draw something and later get confused by yourself. You know what I'm saying? So, similar thing again on the book, they have the clear explanation. Please read through that. Okay? So far, what do you understand? We understand about how to go in different layers, what is the purpose of the layers, right? Okay, why even you bother doing the layers? Okay, and then we understand the on and off of the layers, we understand the freeze and thaw of the layer, right? What else? And there are the properties of the layers, like the line type, like the line width, like the color of the lines. Where to find those, right? I'm going to show it to you shortly. But before that, let me finish that. This is called lock the layer, unlock the layer. What does it mean? So the top one is the lock, bottom one is the unlock. The top one is the freeze, bottom one is the thaw. The top one is turn on, the bottom one is off. Okay, that's how it usually goes. So again, lock the layer is specifically very straightforward to understand. If you're locking a layer, there's nothing you can do with that layer. It's not like turning on and off. Okay, and most of the time, if you are provided with a drawing from a professional places, most likely they lock the layer with some password or something. You can't do anything with that. Okay, you can't mess around with that. Okay, that's so common. So why I'm saying locking the layer? Maybe in your drawing there are certain portion of the thing nobody can. As an example, say like you're drawing this room, right? And if you sidewall of this room, you can draw it and lock it, so nobody can mess around. But you can keep it. Say like you are a interior designer, the architecture. When the architecture draw that draft, the architecture block all the sidewalls and all the layouts and everything. But the interior designer have the options to put the furniture inside the room, right? It makes sense? So the interior designer can't mess up with the wall at all, but put anything that she wants on the on the room itself. Does it make sense? So the locking is so important. You'll be seeing it all the time. So now the final thing or the last thing that I'd like to cover, as I said, the layer functions, right? So the layer functions, you're gonna go with the layer properties here. So what does happen when I'm gonna click the layer properties? You're not seeing it in this screen. It just came up in in this other screen. Let me try to show it to you again. And every time I click it, sorry. Okay, just 1 second. Every time I click it, it just came in my other screen. All right. I'm puzzled myself. So how to move that one? Did you see when you're gonna click this? Okay. I know there is a way around. Just the last thing that I'm gonna do. Just 1 second. For some reason, display setting. I'm gonna do like extend this to duplicate. Okay, then you're gonna see both together. Keep changes. Okay, and then AutoCAD. Okay, now you see everything, right? Everybody see that? That's the last thing that I'm covering. I know we are out of time, but that's a very, very last thing that we're covering. Everybody is able to get that screen when you click on the properties, their properties. Okay, on that screen, few things that you gotta pay attention. First of all, the color. Second of all, the light type. Third of all, the line width. Okay. Now, obviously, you have these two options here because we have 2 layers. You could have like 10 layers, multiple layers. The other thing, before I really jump into those particular options, let me specify one very important thing. When you are drawing when you are drawing a draft from scratch, most likely you will be provided, wherever you are working, you will be provided with a template where all the layers are already set for you. When I said already set for you, maybe on the template they have all the layer for the hidden line. Maybe on the template they have the layer for the dimensions, table annotations. Maybe for another layer for the object line. Does it make sense? Okay, so now the final thing is just showing you different options. Okay, and it's very straightforward and easy to do that. You see, let's say like this new layer that I have, I would like to change the color of it. So what I'm gonna do, just click on the color. It's by default white, and you see you have the options to choose literally any color. You can do that, right? So just how to do that. If I'd like to show it to you, just choose any color, whatever you feel like. Say like the red color it is, and then you click OK. And now you see the drawing that I have, the trapezoid become red. Everybody see that? Okay, I feel like the red is too dark. So I don't know. Maybe you'd like to go with some lighter color. Why? Because the lighter color looks good on the black background, right? So now you're seeing it, right? So that's the color. Any question with the color? Okay, so then the line type. Obviously, I click on line type. Maybe you didn't see it properly what I did. You see line type here where my mouse is hovering. And on the continuous thing, if I'm going to type it here, it just gives me some options. Now, obviously, it just says this like solid line, right? The object line. Now, how to get the other lines options? You click on the load. And you see all sorts of options came up, like the hidden line, the center line, the object line, you name it, all sorts of line. That is possible in the drawing. Whatever your option, whatever your choice, you can choose it from there, right? And then, I don't know, maybe just to show you demonstration purpose, I'm choosing that, right? And then I'm pressing OK, right? And anything that I'm going to draw from here, I'll be getting it that line type that I have, right? Any question on that? The final thing is the line width, right? So if you'd like to make this line thicker, what are you going to do? Just instead of the default option, you may go on any options that you want, like thicker or thinner, right? I don't know. Then anything that you're going to draw next, we're going to have that new line width, right? Any question? And that's it. And I'm actually done with my time. 2 minutes past. Sorry about that. I do have another class immediately after that, but let me stop the recording, okay? And then if you have any question, please feel free to talk with me. Let me. I don't know. For some reason, the recording stopped, or it never happened.
It may have stopped when you changed the resolution.
Ah, it could
Like when
be.
you did the.
Ah, yeah,
Um,
that is good. At least we have something. Just let me verify. I have something. Today is what day?
the second 2-2.
Oh, so it's probably processing now.
Um,
Yeah.
just real
What's
quick,
up? Louis, right?
Lucas,
Lucas.
this is how you move that. That's where the bar is for some reason.
Yeah, I'm not seeing that.
Yeah,
I was trying to up top.
yeah, it's not on the top.
Thank you very much,
Yeah.
Lucas. You've been so helpful. Okay.
I'm very tech savvy. So,
Yeah, I can clearly see that.
you know,
Thank you,
I
thank
don't, I
you.
don't know this software, so this is.
Yeah, but you pick
Yeah.
up things very quick. It's just it's amazing. I mean, yeah, I really appreciate it.
Oh,
I actually have changed today.
excellent.
Yeah, like this control 9, right?
Yeah.
That command line thing. I don't know. It was like so helpful. You just came up with that. How did you came up with that?
I literally looked it up. I'm like, I lost the command line. How do I get it back?
Oh, okay, Google.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
No.
those shortcut commands.
Yeah.
There's no way that I would know that.
Yeah, it didn't work, and it was like that guy Jerry was like poor Jerry was like what to do.
He doesn't have the.
And I don't remember how to bring it back. So
It's one of those things where like
it came
you
up
haven't
after
done
a few
that-
days, and
you probably haven't done that in
no, yeah,
6 years or whatever.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Thank you, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, see you around, guys. Jason, let's go to the class. I had experience. This is a different dynamics. It's a fun class to deal with that situation.
Roman, could I make a small request
Yes.
for future
Yes.
assignments?
Yes.
So when I got done with my math this morning, and I came over to just like check on stuff, I was looking at your homeworks that my Pulse app said was due tonight, like at the end of the day. And then when I opened the homework to see what it was going to be about, it said that it was due at the start of class. So I got the homework one done and turned it in. But then
anytime you see, I'm sure that is not there. But usually the daylight goes with daylight and
the like in bright space.
right. This is the right says like due tonight, end of tonight, that is due tonight. Not like in class. So yeah, I'm gonna clarify that because it's so many years of getting the course time to time. I forgot to keep it out. Okay, so it doesn't necessarily mean it's still not.
But I was sweating. I didn't even have engineering paper, so I had to had to do it on the
we didn't have
composition.
No,
The
not
bright space was the timeline.
bright
I wanted
space is
to
the
follow.
actual timeline.
So it wasn't due till midnight tonight.
Yeah, I thought I cleared it out, but somehow it is still there. Which is, I'm sorry for that.
No, I had it in my bag. I didn't think I was gonna need it until tonight.